If you are brand new to boudoir photography, posing is one of the most intimidating parts of it. When you've got someone in front of you who's being vulnerable and in lingerie, and all of a sudden you have to guide and direct them, it feels like a lot. And this was one area that I struggled with when I started 9 years ago. So let me walk you through 5 poses that I think are really, really helpful if you are a beginner photographer. Now, what I will say, I do not believe in memorizing a list of poses that you want to do during a photo shoot. If you've got in your head like 30 to 50 poses you want to do, and then all of a sudden a client's body can't do one, or maybe wardrobe isn't working for that pose, now your brain starts to spin and go, oh no, my plan is ruined. What am I going to do? So I think what we're going to do today instead is focus on these 5 beginner poses and then talk about how we pivot and go from there. So think of these as 5 like keystone poses, and then you can make tweaks and adjustments and little minor, changes to get more variety out of your next photo shoot. All right, let's go. When you are brand new to boudoir photography, posing is one of the most intimidating parts of it. And when I started my studio 9 years ago, posing is what I struggled with the most. So today I'm going to walk you through 5 poses that are really, really great if you are just starting out in boudoir photography. Now, what I want you to do is think of these 5 poses as like a keystone pose. So rather than walking into a photo shoot with 30 or 40 or 50 poses memorized, and then all of a sudden maybe something goes awry and your client can't move that way, their knees don't bend that way, maybe their wardrobe doesn't fit with the pose that you were planning on doing, and now you're like spiraling because, oh no, your plan has been disrupted. I want you to think of these poses as keystones that we can make minor adjustments to, tweaks, things like that. That way we have a pretty good solid base, but if something were to go awry, that's okay because we can pivot and change. Let's go and do pose number 1. The first 2 poses I'm going to show you are both standing poses, which are great because most people can do a standing pose. The one we're going to start with is fantastic to do at the beginning of your sessions because your clients don't have to look at you, and there's a good chance your clients are going to be really, really nervous walking into their photo shoot. So I think starting with poses where they never have to look at the camera is a great way to go. It helps them warm up, gets their body warmed up, and they're not worried about what they're doing with their face. We are just focusing on their shoulders and their back and their booty for this one. So I recommend using a wall, but you can honestly do this with no wall. You could do this with like something to lean against. Again, there are ways to tweak it, but we're going to take left foot and bring those toes right in front of the right foot and keep all of the weight on the right leg. So I'm going to face the wall. I'm bringing those toes up like we just talked about. We're going to ignore, if you can see all of the yellow feathers on the floor right now, we're going to ignore that because I had a client wear a feather robe and these feathers will be the bane of my existence. I'm going to be finding them forever. So toes are up. Hands are going to come up on the wall, but what we like is asymmetry. So I would have my client stagger them a little bit. I would have my client lean in towards the wall and push butt back at the same time. And then from a photography perspective, I can either shoot that straight on, or if I want more drama and more shadow, I would move away from where my light is, and then I'll be able to shoot her from an angle, or him, and get the really nice high contrast of shadows because of where my light is. So that's something to keep in mind. I'll show you again, and let me show you a couple of ways to tweak this, again, this keystone pose, so that our clients are getting a lot of variety and they don't have to do a ton of extra work because they're nervous. So we don't want to put them through the ringer, right? So this can turn into this, can turn into this, can turn into this. We can stand away from the wall, pretty much all of that again. We can pretend to shampoo hair. I mean, boom, what was that? Like 5, 6 different poses? in a matter of seconds. And if you, the photographer, are moving around the whole time, now we have even more variety. So again, work that pose into your rotation and you will be all set. Okay, so we just did a pose where the client wasn't looking at the camera, wasn't facing you. Now we're going to do one where their gorgeous face is in the photo, but they still don't have to look at you. We're going to build to that. So let's head to this mirror and we're going to do what I call the I have to go to the bathroom pose. If you tell this to pretty much anyone, they're going to know exactly what that means, which means they're going to end up in one of these. I really, really have to go to the bathroom. That's what we want. Why do we want this? Well, because look at that triangle. Look at that shape right there. That's interesting. We love triangles. We love shapes. If something can bend, we're going to bend it. So this is where our client is starting. Depending on where your lighting is in the studio and how you shoot, that's going to probably change which leg is up and which one is down. In my case, I always have my clients put their right leg up and then with their hands for a little bit of stability, because this does require some balance, I will have them gently touch the mirror behind them. But again, you could do this against a wall. You could do this against a pillar. If your client has good balance, you don't need really anything. They could bring their hands to their hips or behind them or up into their hair. But again, I'm going to ask my clients to reach behind and touch the mirror gently. They're going to bring that leg over like they have to go to the bathroom. I'm going to ask them to bring their chest forward. And when they bring their chest forward, they're going to push their booty back at the same time. So now we're like very long, very strong. It's like someone is holding them up by a rope from the tippy top of their head. And then, where's my light? It's over here. So I'm going to have them bring their chin towards that light. And then again, I like high contrast. So I'm actually far away from the light, getting all of this shadow on their face while this, their eyes and their nose and their lips are still exposed. So let me show you what that looks like. Popping up, bringing over, making our triangle, booty's back, chest is forward, and they're going to look at this pillar. They might look down. We might take a hand, bring it into hair, depending on what they're wearing. If they do have good stability, they can pull bra straps down off of their shoulder. If they're wearing a shirt or something, we can pull down on that. Again, we're looking for a lot of minor changes and minor adjustments because we're getting a lot of variety that way. I also find it very helpful with clients who are very nervous because they don't have enough time to get in their own head about thinking of the poses. If we're like, okay, do this. Now bring your hand into your, hair and now grab onto your bra straps. Now I want you to grab onto the bottom of your shirt. They don't have time to think about if they're doing a good job or not because we are moving and grooving. So I would also recommend working that into your rotation. And if your client is feeling particularly comfortable in front of the camera, they can also look at you during that pose. So we're feeling good about 1 and 2? Awesome. Let's go on to number 3. What is a boudoir session without a bed, right? I mean, it's a tried and true piece of furniture that almost every single boudoir studio has. So let me show you my absolute favorite pose that I do with pretty much every single client using a bed. You're going to ask your client to lay on the bed. And in my case, I want their head as close to my light source as possible. So I always have them lay on the bed incorrectly. They're going to stagger their knees. I don't care which one. I just want one higher than the other. If I'm shooting over here, I probably will have them drop this one so that I can see this one as well, and we're not hiding anything. I'm going to ask them to lift their chin because this is where my light source is, and I want their face illuminated. And then with their hands, we've got lots of options here. This is our basic pose, right? This is our keystone. Staggered legs, chest up, chin up. From here, we can play around. They can come up and grab onto the bed. They can put their hands in their hair. They can grab onto bra straps. They can grab onto the bottom of their lingerie or their shirt. They can pull up on their underwear. They can grab onto the bedding. There are like a million things we can do just from this pose, which is why it is my favorite. There's so much variety. And I always like to joke and tell my clients, hey, here's your opportunity to finally lay down on the job, and they always get a kick out of that. This is like my go-to with every single session. So I would highly recommend giving this a try. Now, what I will say, this pose, this laying down pose, you can do this on the floor, you can do this on a sofa. It doesn't have to be on a bed. Because beds are very soft, there is less to push back against. So if somebody is arching, they may not be able to arch super high on a soft surface because they're pushing against something that isn't pushing back. Whereas on the floor, it's a lot easier to get a huge arch because you are working against and pushing against a hard surface. Now, if you have a client who can't arch very well, use the furniture to your advantage. If I had a client who told me they had back surgery or they have shoulder pain or arthritis somewhere in their back, I would have them lay against a pillow. I would put this underneath their shoulders and their neck because now the pillow is doing all of the arching for them and they don't have to, and it's just a lot easier. So sometimes we have to modify poses based on what our clients can do, and that's okay. We want them to feel comfortable. We want them to feel empowered. And if modification is what we got to do to make that work, then we are going to do it. All right, let's go into number 4. All right, so from the bed, let's go down to the floor. And no matter where you're shooting, whether you own a studio, you're in your home, you're outside, I know you've got access to the ground, so let's use it, all right? We've done standing, we've done laying. Now we're going to do a sitting down pose, specifically on your hip. So I would ask my client to sit on their hip, and I'm going to have them rest their arm on this ottoman. If I didn't have the ottoman here, I would ask them to rest their hand on the bed. I've had clients reverse this and rest on the sill. If you have nothing for a client to rest on, you can do one of these as well. So you don't necessarily need furniture for this one, but I have it, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to ask my client to put a little bend in their knees, because again, if something can bend, we bend it. I'm going to ask them to stagger and change, though, which knee is bent more than the other. I want variety. We want different shapes. Instead of having their arm with fingers facing towards the camera, so something like this, do you see how that kind of, depending on where you're shooting, can make their arm disappear? And when you're looking at them, you just see fingers. But they don't have just fingers, they have a whole arm. So I always want them to bring their arm perpendicular to my camera so that I don't lose their forearm. So that's turned towards the camera. And then this is the hand we're going to play with. This is the one that's going to move and groove. Toes are pointed, they're lifted. That string is being pulled up. I would probably have them bring their hair, if they have long hair, behind their shoulder so that this part of their neck is illuminated. And then they may start with their hand up into the hair. They can bring it down to their lips. They can bring it over their body. This is a great one to pull a strap. If they're wearing something strappy, they can pull it away from their body. They can end here. They can drop that elbow a little bit so that we're mirroring the shape of their body. And I'll just have them hang out here for a little while, again, making their little minor tweaks like we've talked about. What's important to watch for as the photographer is just making sure that their legs are engaged and their toes are pointed so we can show off their gorgeous calf muscles, and then just making sure that this hand has something to do, because otherwise your client is going to feel uncomfortable and like, I don't know what to do with this hand. So we're going to make sure this hand always has a job to do. And from here, we'll go on to pose number 5, the last one. So let's go. All right, for the last pose, let's talk booty again. We started with some booty pics. Let's end with some booty pics. This is a pose that I especially love doing if my clients have brought high heels with. So I put some on for you guys, all right? Bear with me. These are sitting heels, not walking around heels. So great for this pose. I'm going to ask my client to get onto a piece of furniture and kneel down so that their booty is as close to their heels as possible. I want them to lift their toes up a little bit so that the heel gets a little bit closer to their booty. If they have long hair, I'm probably going to ask them to bring it all back, and they're going to bring their chin up so that all of that gorgeous hair falls behind them. And then I am going to ask them to grab onto the heel of their shoe and hang out right here. Now, again, what minor tweaks could we make to this keystone pose? Well, I can ask them to cup their booty instead. They can pull up and give themselves a wedgie. They can pull down and show off a little more booty. They can bring their hands up into their hair and do a shampoo motion. They could bring their hands to the back of the sofa. I can have them shake their hair out. I mean, the list goes on and on. Bra straps off, whatever. There's like a million things we can do. If they don't have heels, that's fine, because this pose also works for that. I'm actually going to take these off really quick because I want to show you that this pose is something we can do in different angles to the light. So this would be a booty pose where we're facing. I could ask them to face towards the window light. And I would probably, shoot over here so that, again, their face is illuminated. If I wanted it to be about the booty again, then I would make sure that the booty is facing the light. And we would kind of do a lot of the same stuff. If I have this couch parallel with this wall, what I will often do is put my client directly in front of this mirror on the sofa doing that kneeling pose. And then I can get like a really nice silhouette, and I can move and sometimes get really, really beautiful high contrast images of their face and their chest. So there's like a lot we can do just from that very, very, very basic kneeling pose. In summary, we just did 5 pretty different poses. We did standing, we did laying down, we did sitting, we did kneeling. And when it comes to boudoir, those are kind of the 4 main things. So if I were to shoot just these 5 poses and I made sure that I was moving around, I made sure my client was making minor adjustments that I direct, I make sure that I am shooting full body, quarter body, and just face, as well as detail shots. With just these 5 poses, I would feel very, very comfortable giving my client a gallery of those images. I would feel very, very confident that there would be enough variety in there for them to create a portfolio box or an album or something like that, and they not feel like it's just the same 5 poses. They would look at that gallery and think, oh wow, we did a lot. I can't believe how much we got done. And it wasn't really that much. So I would highly recommend starting with these 5 poses, playing around with them, and seeing what you can actually create from just one basic pose. And then you just do it 4 more times. It's pretty easy. Hopefully this video has given you some confidence. You are ready to maybe grab a model and play around a little bit and practice. In the comments, please let me know which of these 5 poses was your favorite and which one you are most excited to try. I would love to hear it. And if you are looking for more boudoir education, self-love goodness, that is what I do. I run Buxton Boudoir out of Port Washington, Wisconsin. I've been doing it for 9 years. I know a lot of stuff at this point, and I am happy to share it all with you, which is why I put out a new YouTube video every single Saturday. I will see you all again in the next one. Remember, your body is a good body. Your clients' bodies are good bodies. I will see you all again next week.